Welcome to Every Frame a Robot, a new series where we dissect the greatest robot movies of all time. I'm your host Otto, and today we examine the 1953 classic, Robot Monster. Before we begin, check out our robot movies. Our newest one, Robotica Destructiva, is streaming now on all kinds of cool platforms. It's on DVD too, along with our other movies, The Killer Robots Crash and Burn, and The Killer Robots in the Battle for the Cosmic Potato. For more information, check out the description below. And now, on with the show. Does Robot Monster deserve its reputation as the worst film ever made, or was there a method to director Phil Tucker's madness? Let's find out.
I cannot, yet I must. How do you calculate that?
Robot Monster was released June 24th, 1953, and follows the timeless story of a robot gorilla named Roman and his quest to rid the Earth of its final 8 human inhabitants. It's also a tale of unrequited love between Roman and Alice, the human daughter of a surviving scientist.
I am ordered to kill you. I must do it with my hands.
How is it you're so strong, Roman?
Filmed in 4 days, Robot Monster wrapped production on March 23rd, 1953. Working with a budget of $16,000, the production was shot entirely outdoors, with most of the filming set at the world-famous Bronson Canyon, a backdrop to many movies and TV shows throughout the years. A big part of the movie's appeal at the time was that it was shot in 3D. The process took up a large chunk of the budget though, but it paid off, with critics at the time citing it as one of Robot Monster's best features. Director Phil Tucker's original intention was to rent a robot costume, or have one built specifically for the movie, but due to the small budget, compromises had to be made, so Tucker enlisted the help of his friend George Barrows. Barrows owned a gorilla suit of his own creation and agreed to play the titular character. Tucker then added a space helmet, and a classic 50s sci-fi icon was born. Phil Tucker himself was born on May 22, 1927. In his mid-20s, he directed 6 films in the span of 2 years, including Robot Monster. In his later years, he became a successful editor, contributing to such films as the 1976 remake of King Kong and the Wonder Woman TV series. The movie was scored by Elmer Bernstein, who went on to score huge studio movies like 1956's The Ten Commandments and 1984's Ghostbusters. The man had range. Is this film as bad as they say? Sure, it's got some hiccups. Many don't like the revelation that it's Johnny's dream at the end, although many of his dream elements were set up from the beginning. First, Johnny plays with his bubbles. Soon he discovers 2 scientists studying an ancient cave illustration that looks like a crudely drawn Roman.
He looks like some of those people I saw last time I was on Pluto.
Later he remarks that he wishes he had a dad.
Say, are we ever going to have a new father around our house?
I don't know, dear. Would you like that?
If we do, I hope he's a big scientist that makes rocket ships and things like that.
All this informs Johnny's dream narrative. One of the scientists is now his dad, and Roman is real, leading an attack on Earth from inside a cave. His equipment emitting lots of bubbles. Like Roman himself, the movie is awkward and clumsy at times, but that makes it fun. Coming in at a little over an hour, the movie is just long enough to entertain a group of friends who want to share some laughs at the many surprising and unexpected choices the movie makes.
You look like a pooped out pinwheel.
As for the robot, if I had to rate it from 1 to 10, I would rate it a 10 just because it has stood the test of time. The combination of gorilla suit and space helmet strikes such an oddball image and has become iconic. If you were a punk band, you might paste it into a flyer to lend it some forbidden retro energy. Now, if you first saw this in the 50s, you might have given it a 1 out of 10, but that's okay, because it grossed $1 million, more than 62 times its budget. If only the distributor had paid director Phil Tucker his share of the profits, we might have seen 62 more examples of this strange offbeat vision. Now it's 2024 and audiences are still enjoying Robot Monster, which goes to show you, if you don't have a lot of money to make a movie, make it weird! Don't be afraid to push the boundaries of what you think an audience will accept, because if they don't accept it, they will at least remember it for decades to come. Back and forth across the void, searching for his right to be. If only you want to learn more about Robot Monster, check out Anders Runestad's 696-page tome, I Cannot, Yet I Must. The true story of the best bad monster movie of all time, Robot Monster. It's a fascinating look into the making of Robot Monster in the world of low-budget filmmaking of the 1950s. Now, if you don't want to read that many pages, there's Kevin Scott Collier's 120-page book, Robot Monster Diaries. Another in-depth look at Robot Monster, which includes a lot of fun interviews with surviving cast members. Oh, and check out that new 70th anniversary Blu-ray. It's all cleaned up and includes both 2D and 3D versions, along with a bunch of bonus features, including 3D glasses. Let us know what you think of Robot Monster in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe. This was Every Frame a Robot. I'm Otto, over and out.
You look like a pooped out pinwheel.